These 3-inch rear lift blocks are for the 1999 through 2022 F-250 Super Duty owners who need some additional height to the rear end of their truck and want that height in an easy and affordable way. Now this set of blocks here is great if you've lifted your Super Duty a little too much in the front and want a more leveled stance, or even have blocks on there now that aren't enough for your preferred stance or aesthetic, or even your tire size and you need a taller swap. These are also great if you're towing and need to balance out the squat that you're getting in the rear when towing anything heavy or hauling anything heavy, making this a very functional solution. Now, I do want to note that if you are putting this on a stock suspension, that you will need some shock extension brackets or taller shocks to allow for proper traction and performance in the rear, so just keep that in mind when you're checking this out. Adding blocks to the rear, especially this 3-inch option, can benefit your truck for a number of reasons and really comes down to your lifestyle and where it's going to benefit you most. Now this set offers a pretty aggressive height increase for the back, which helps keep a more even or leveled stance under load and eliminates tire to wheel well contact while hauling or towing for a more efficient and comfortable operation. Now that additional height also offers some room in the wheel well to fit up to a 34-inch tire if you do want an upgrade and need the extra room in the back in order to do it. Now these are made of a steel construction, being durable and able to withstand the abuse when being mounted up to the back of the truck. Now to resist any rust and corrosion, the blocks also come with a black finish that is going to be very helpful if you live in harsher conditions. Now this kit also comes with everything that you need in the kit, including the nuts, washers, U-bolts, and the blocks do have alignment pins and holes on the bottom for a secure and direct swap. Again, this is an affordable solution to additional height for the back of your F-250, coming in at about $175. Now comparing this to the rest in the category, this is very easy and a quick solution to height. It has a pretty aggressive size if you know that you need that 3 inches for the back of your truck, and it comes alone. So if you don't want to be locked into a kit, if you want to customize your suspension to your needs, or simply just want to take it one step at a time, this is a great solution compared to a full-blown lift kit. Now I do recommend a little bit of mechanical experience here in order to tackle this job, so it gets a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should only take about 3 hours or so with the right tools and setup. However, at this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can get this kit onto your F-250 at home. So that wraps it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, 3/8 inch adapter if necessary, an 18mm, 23mm, and 24mm socket, a 21 and 23mm wrench. Also not shown here is a cutting tool and also a jack and jack stands or a couple pole jacks. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing some lift blocks on our F-250, so let's get started. Alright guys, so we've got our truck in the air, we've got the rear wheels off, and we also have some pole jacks under our differential to help support it because we're going to need to remove our factory U-bolts to drop our differential down to make room for our blocks. So the first thing we're going to do is disconnect our lower mounting points for our factory shocks. We've got our 18mm socket and 21mm wrench. We'll pop this bolt off. Make sure that's loose, and then you can do the same thing for the other side. Alright, so our next step is going to be to remove our factory U-bolt so we can drop our differential down to allow for space for the new blocks. And what we're going to do is loosen one side. We're not going to fully remove the nuts or the cradle on our U-bolts. Then we're going to remove this side so we can drop it down, but we still have some security with the other side on the cradle. So we'll loosen up our passenger side and we'll remove our driver's side. Now we've got our passenger side loosened, we'll remove our driver's side. We've got our 24mm socket on our impact. And once we have our cradle out, we can remove our factory U-bolts. Now we can lower our pole jack to give us a room for our lift block. So now once you have your differential lowered down enough, the easiest thing to do is grab your factory block. These go on top of it. They are tapered and the wider end goes towards the rear of the differential. So you want to set it in that dowel for your factory block. Once you have it lined up with the dowel in your block, you want to bring it back up. You want to line it up with the dowel on your leaf spring. Now, because of how off-center it is, it might be a little cocked, so we'll put our U-bolts and our cradle in loosely to kind of give it a cage, and then we'll get the other side set up, and then we can bring it back up. So now we'll get our new U-bolts in place. Make sure they go right where the factory ones went. We're going to reuse our factory cradle. You may have to squeeze your U-bolts a little bit to get them into the cradle. Once we have our cradle on, we're going to grab our supplied nuts and flat washers, get those onto our U-bolts. Now that we have all of our nuts on for our U-bolts, we're going to run those up. We're not going to fully tighten it down just yet. We're going to grab our 23 mil socket on our impact and just run these up a bit. Now, as you can see, you have a good bit of U-bolts sticking out under this. Once you fully tighten them down, you can trim these up. For demonstration purposes, we're not going to worry about cutting ours, but this will hold this side in a nice cage, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Then we'll come back and tighten everything up. Now we're going to get our blocks and our dowel lined up on our leaf spring. Sometimes this does tend to shift, so I'm on a stool to help me see better. I'll get this lined up. It's going to help sit it back in place. It's in a pretty good spot. We'll do the same thing for the other side, and then we'll bring this up. Now, once you have both sides seated, you can come back and fully tighten these down and torque them to the manufacturer recommended spec. Again, since we are not trimming ours down, we're going to use a 23 millimeter wrench, but if you trim it down, you can use the socket still. Now, you do want to alternate which side you're tightening so that this comes up evenly and properly. And once you have this side tight, you can do the same thing for the other side, and we'll get our shocks back in place. Now we can reinstall our shocks into our lower mounts. We'll get these lined up. Might have to push your shock up into place a little. That bolt back through. Once you reinstall your nut, you can grab your 21 mil wrench, 18 mil socket, tighten these back down. And you can do the same thing for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our 3-inch rear lift blocks for your 99 to 22 F250 and F350 Super Duty. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F250, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.